Well, I'll try to get my mic on, folks. I think I jumped the gun with the camera. There. I hope you can hear me. If those of you that are watching, can you tell me whether or not you can hear me? And if you can, just say hi. This is Neil Douglas, and this is American Truth Finders. Tonight, I want to cover a couple topics if we can, especially two of them that I think are kind of confusing to a lot of people and don't understand the Electoral College or why we even have it. The Supreme Court yesterday ruled that faithless electors cannot go rogue in the Electoral College. Now, what is that? What's that actually mean? What does the Electoral College mean when it says faithless electors? That actually is referring to there's 538 people who cast the electoral votes for president in December as a part of an electoral college that have agents and must be vote in the laws of the states that they're within as they direct them. So, in other words, if I'm reading, you understand why I'm looking down, because I can't remember everything that the Supreme Court said. This is something that a lot of people question why we don't go with a popular vote. And the Electoral College, is made up of those, like I said, 538 electors, and they cast their vote to decide the president and vice president of the United States. And when voters go to the polls, they're choosing which candidate they want. It's just that simple. But if a delegate who is on the electoral board, I'm using that term, decides to go rogue and not vote for the one person that they said they could, that is no longer available. Now, that could have changed several different elections in the past because of the popular vote. But because the Supreme Court says that this has to be followed directly, that our forefathers set this up so that we would not have a country that would be controlled totally by population. It wants to give each state an equal opportunity. Now, I'd like to have some of your comment tonight. Matter of fact, I have to know if for sure, because I am the one that kind of messed up on my microphone. Are there any viewers out there? If somebody message me, let me know. And otherwise, we'll continue to move on. I don't like talking to myself, but excuse me, but I've got allergies and sinuses like everybody else does, and drainage is there, and I'm human, and I'm doing the show, like I said, as I normally would do when I did my radio broadcast. Right now, I'm seeing that it doesn't look like anybody's even watching. So if that's the case, I need to restart possibly. Otherwise, somebody say hi and let me know that you're there. And we'll see what happens. But I'm going to continue on. You know, every 4 years, voters go to the polls and they select a candidate for president or vice president. In all but 2 states, the candidates who wins the majority of the votes in the states wins the state's electoral votes. If you are a Democrat and it becomes out a Republican, you've got to vote for that Republican, according to the way I understand the Supreme Court. Maybe somebody else understands it better than me. I'm going to ask you: Do you even think? I've had many discussions in the past about the Electoral College. Do you think that you approve of the Electoral College, or would you rather see a popular vote? Because if you do, I want to know why. Now, the Electoral College says that you cannot go rogue. You have to. You have to be able to stay with whatever your guideline is on your state. If the state goes red, you vote red. If the state goes blue, you go blue. Because popular vote, again, becomes kind of like mob rule. If you're out there watching, I want you to do me a favor. Please share this, because this is a very important topic. A lot of you, I'm sure, know that the Supreme Court did make the ruling yesterday. If for some reason, if for some reason you don't understand it, or maybe you understand it better than I do, say something. Share this with your friends. I want some action on this. I had a lot of people that wanted to know when we were going to start. I reported back, and I'm finding out that I'm not getting the viewers that said they would be viewing. Maybe you are busy. Maybe you're tired of listening to me. If that's the case, I understand that too. I am telling you right now what's happening, and there was an article, and it's an opinionated article that someone wrote, and the person actually used to be a former senior writer, let me use that term, for President Obama. And he says that the Supreme Court just pointed out the absurdity of the Electoral College. It's up to us to end it. Okay. For those of you that agree with that or disagree with that, I want some comments. Don't be afraid to comment. I can read them, I can answer them, I can respond to them. We got an election year. This is serious. I mean, because this goes back to Washington and Colorado during the 2016 election that brought this whole thing to the front, which means the Supreme Court had to make a ruling on it. And this is something that is probably going to be taken back to the Supreme Court. I don't know. They've made their final ruling. It was unanimous. Everybody on the Supreme Court voted that you cannot go rogue. You cannot change your vote. You cannot change what the vote of the state is, or you can be replaced. You will be replaced. This is a I'd like to know just how many of you even understand what the Supreme Court is, or excuse me, not the Supreme Court, the Electoral College is, and why we do have it. I'm sure a lot of people have questioned it in the past. The Supreme Court just flat out says you cannot go rogue. You cannot change your vote. And they're talking about the people that are on the Electoral College. It's a touchy subject because so many people are saying, why do we even need the Electoral College? Why can't we just go with the popular vote? Well, I think it's pretty simple. You would have 1, 2, 3, actually, maybe 4 states that would decide who the president and vice president is each election. The Electoral College is there for a reason. If you notice, it's 538. Well, that's the same number that's in our Congress when you think of the Senate and the House of Representatives together. You know, now there's a professor at the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire, and he's a political science professor, and he said the Electoral College members can play rogue roles in close elections. And that's interesting that he would say that. So there haven't been, he says, he goes on to say there hasn't been exclusively large numbers of these. Yesterday, I heard there was somewhere between 5 or 10 maybe elections that could or could not have been, could not have been decided if it hadn't been for the Electoral College. I don't know. The only ones I'm aware of right now were the one with President Trump and Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and then again George Romney, or not George Romney, but Romney was his name. George was his dad. Anyway, and Barack Obama. So this is something that's I guess we have to look at this. He says that in a close decision election, it has a potential to make a big difference, and I have to agree with that. And so, give me some thoughts. Have anybody out there? Is anybody even watching? If you're watching, say something. I don't care what it is. Tell me to shut up if you want. Sorry about that, but I had to make a quick type. So, I'm assuming that you're not interested in talking about the decision that the Supreme Court said yesterday about the Electoral College and why there is a comment of somebody saying that it's up to us to end it. Justice Kagan words were, "Here the people rule." But today, and still more, aspiration and declaration, she made the fact that the Electoral College are even a great threat to our democracy. The court did its job, and that's the main thing. This way, we don't have like mob rules. We don't have where the states that are in the Midwest, maybe that don't have as many population, they don't have really a decision or choice in deciding who's the president or vice president. So this is important. The other thing, for any of you that are watching, I'm going to stop on the Electoral College at this point because it looks like I'm not getting anybody that's even interested in it. And that's fine. That's totally your decision. The other thing I want to touch on is what in the heck is going on with the violence in this country. I brought this up. We can go back to the Supreme Court if those of you that want to. I do want some comments if you want. Suddenly, I'm starting to get some people to watch, and I appreciate that. Please stay with me if you would, and make your comments, because I'm really concerned that no one seems to be interested in, or even know about the Supreme Court, why the Supreme Court made the decision to say that there can be no more rogue voters. I made that comment at the beginning of this video, and you can go back and watch it if you want, or we can talk about it again. But I do definitely want to bring up this, and this is something that I hope that you will listen to. I hope you'll pay attention. I hope you'll talk to me about it. All you have to do is message. All you have to do is message. And that is the violence today in our inner cities. And I know that you're all probably thinking the same thing. Oh boy, here we go again. But yes, this last weekend was horrific. Horrific in the inner cities. Chicago, 47 people were shot over this last holiday weekend. 47. 13 were killed. That's at least 13. We don't know if anybody else has died since then. At least I haven't seen anything. Including a 7-year-old girl and a 14-year-old boy. Does that bother you at all? That's just in Chicago. That's just in Chicago. If you go to New York City, a 26-year-old was found dead in front of a police precinct. A few hours later, a 19-year-old male with a gunshot wound to his chest and a 27-year-old male with a gunshot wound to his left shoulder, they were found in Brooklyn. People, yes, I am reading because I can't remember all these numbers. I'm going down to cities. I'm going through cities. The New York reported that nearly 30 people were shot overnight, and 14 of them in northern Manhattan. That is very sad. Baltimore, the incident that happened in Baltimore, 4 women were shot in a quadruple shooting, and that was on Friday. Now, I'm talking about this weekend. Detroit, 40-year-old man and 3 boys, 15, 12, and 9, were all hurt. Boys, young children. Memphis, Tennessee. A woman was shot in the head while watching fireworks. People, I guess you really don't care. Nobody's even commenting. I guess you really, truly don't care that this is happening. It's happening in our inner cities, not just big cities. Yes, there are big cities, but I'm talking about inner cities. Philadelphia, 4 people were shot overnight. This is over this whole weekend, everything I'm reporting. 4 people were shot in 2 separate shootings. A 37-year-old woman was shot twice in the legs, and her 27-year-old, and a 27-year-old, male was pushed, and he was shot in the head. 36-year-old man and a 22-year-old man were both found suffering from shots to their legs. People, come on, say something to me, will you? Is this part? Have any of you paid any attention to this violence that's going on in our inner cities? And it's going to hit your small cities if you're not careful, because these are not your normal shootings because somebody's bored and they're become cabin fever because of the virus. St. Louis, a child who's in critical condition after being shot in the head Saturday night. This is this last weekend, 4th of July night. A child, poor innocent child. And then an 8-year-old girl was injured being shot in a vehicle Saturday night. What is this? Does this happen? None of this is happening in your area, apparently, so nobody seems to care. Greenville, South Carolina, 2 people killed, and 8 were hurt in the shooting at a nightclub. I guess it's, we can go on and on. There's one that I'm really concerned about. I'm concerned tremendously about this child that was with her father walking across the street. And as soon as they got across the street, he was killed. And his little girl, I think she was maybe 4 or 6 years old, maybe, probably, I think maybe 6. And she ends up watching her father die, getting killed. These are not your normal people. These are gang-related people, inner-city gang-related. I'm not going to stand here or sit here and tell you that it's all black, because you have white gangs, you have Hispanic gangs, you have Oriental gangs, you have gangs of young men and girls that have become violent. And most of it is probably due to drugs, drug dealing, bad drug dealing, whatever the case might be. I don't know. Maybe you know. Maybe you can give me a clue. Give me a clue what you think. I've been sitting here talking to myself because nobody else wants to comment, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But I'm telling you right now, something has to be done about this. And they want to defund the police in these cities. They don't want the police around because police are just they're too violent. Well, then what about these violent murders and shootings of little children, little kids, babies, even sitting in the back seats of cars that have been months old, just a few months old. I just saw a situation where a child was shot, killed, a baby, little baby. Oh my God. Come on, people. Somebody tell me something. Is this happening in your area, or are you even concerned about it? If you're not, just say so. You can comment to me. I can read it. You can comment so other people can read it. I went over the Supreme Court thing. Nobody seems to even want to comment on it. That's fine. I understand that. Maybe it's not interesting to you. Maybe it's not important to you. That's fine. I thought it would be something that was interesting for you to understand. Now I'm talking about the violence in the inner cities, and nobody wants to even bring it up. Nobody wants to even think about a small child, let alone these young kids that are out doing some of this. The gangs, the inner city gangs. You can blame it on whoever you want to blame it on, but most of it is drug-related inner city gangs that are fighting with each other. And a lot of these poor kids, little young children, babies, even these fathers. I don't know, the little girl that walked across the street with her father across the walk, and as soon as they got across the street, he was shot and killed right there with her. And she watched her father die. I don't know if that was drug related or not. Nobody seems to know. Nobody's been able to investigate it. Am I upset and angry? Yeah, I am. Because by defunding the police, who's going to go out and protect you? Who's going to protect the people? Who's going to protect you when you're walking down the street with your child or your grandchild or whatever the case might be? I guess, you know, this is not something, you watch it on the news, maybe they're what I call, I don't call it news, I call it commentary. But you obviously do call it news, and that's fine with me. I don't care what you call it. But what is happening? The country is falling apart. We are dividing drastically. But I am very concerned about these 4th of July over the weekend craziness of the violence and the murders that went on, the shootings in these inner cities. And I'm talking about, like I said, Chicago, New York, Cleveland, Philadelphia, uh, Memphis. You know, it's sickening. Does anybody have anything to say, or is my video not even working? Does anybody have anything that they can comment on to let me know that I'm not talking to myself? I do that enough anyway. You know, all seriousness, people, this is not something that's a game anymore. The violence in our inner cities, it is dangerous. Would you walk? Even out in the open, for crying out loud, in some of these major cities, they don't care anymore. People are being shot at. Cars are being shot at. There could be a protest and people are getting shot at. A peaceful protest. Or it could be a situation of outsiders coming in and causing riots so that people do get into these crazed mind ideas that they can kill or shoot anybody, including small babies and children, little girls, little boys, kids that haven't even had a chance to have a life. If you think I'm sounding angry, I am. I am very angry. I don't give a hoot about the first part of my program tonight as far as the Supreme Court and the Electoral College. It is what it is. It's going to stay that way. If you don't like it, I guess you don't like it. The popular vote is not going to make a difference anymore because you can't go rogue because you'll be replaced if you do. I'm talking about the Electoral College people. But the violence that's happening in our country today, the uncalled violence that is being agitated and agitated and agitated and agitated by our mainstream commentary and opinion people that we watch. And it's almost like being incited. They want to incite it because they want to keep bringing it up, bringing it up, bringing it up. I'm bringing it up tonight because we have to stop it. If we have to stop anything, this has got to be it. We've got to stop the violence. We defund the police, defund them and see what happens. Defund them and see when you call. I don't care what your situation is. Defend them, because I'm going to tell you something. 99% of the police officers out there are good officers. Yeah, you got some bad ones, but they didn't start this. They didn't start this whole thing. When I say they didn't start it, the division has been going on for quite a while. The bad ones sure haven't helped. I can tell you that, especially when it started with George Floyd. I'm not going to go into that tonight. I am going to go into the fact that I've got just a couple minutes left, and I'm getting off of here. If I bored you, tell me, message me. You know I don't care. I can take it. I'm a big boy. I will always respect your opinions. But I'm gonna say this. You want things to continue the way they are, then defund your police in your area. Don't worry about the violence that's going on in the inner cities. Don't worry about these little children that are being killed innocently. That stand there, they just bystanders. bystanding little children, young teenagers that maybe could have gone to college to become a president, or could have become a professor, or could have become an astronaut, or become a pilot, could have become anything. Because in this situation, we're not talking about color, we're talking about human lives. Does it even bother any of you? Does nobody want to even comment, say something about why they think this is going on? I would love to hear your opinion. Why you think the violence is going on the way it is in our country and how it's growing so fast. I'm going to post a video. Because I'm done. I'm going to post a video when I get done here about the Electoral College. For those of you that really want to know what it's about, I'm going to post a video and you can watch it. And it's very well explained as to why and how it started and why we have it. As far as the other topic, the violence that everybody seemed to be excited about when I mentioned it, but I'm getting no comments now. Either there's something wrong with the my video, or maybe you're not getting it, or maybe the comments aren't working. Whatever the case is, I'm very saddened. I'm very angry. I'm more saddened about these lives of these small children, these little kids that have not had a life at all because of the inner city, what I call inner city, and that maintains any city that has your gangs. And the drugs are going to keep coming. I'm going to tell you that right now. And so are the illegal guns and weapons. The drugs and the guns will be there. Don't worry about it. You can take our guns, and guess what? They'll still be there on the streets. Somebody will have them because they'll get them. They'll come from other countries. Same with drugs. Where do you think most of it's coming from? Other countries. They're not coming. It's not just the United States that they're getting everything. Those people that are being shot probably, I would give you any amount of money with a gun that's not even registered. It's probably stolen. Have I said too much? Have I not made any sense whatsoever? I'm going to ask you to do me one favor when I go off the air. I would like for you to message me, privately message me, and tell me what you think. Should I continue with these videos or a live broadcast in this case? And what do you want me to talk about? You tell me. You tell me. You want to talk about the World Health Organization? I can tell you right now. Trump says by next year, we're out of it. He's already said we're out of it. He made it official today. I can't find the paper, but I can tell you right now, he definitely has made it official. We're by I think it's May of next year, 2021. We will no longer be a part of the World Health Organization. We're not now anyway. We're not giving them any money, but we're pulling out totally. And I'm glad of that, because the World Health Organization is nothing but a phony lie. For those of you that have watched, I'm thankful and I appreciate it. For those of you that have stayed with me, even though people have not commented, I appreciate those that have. I am hoping that I will get some messages from you. And no, this is not feel sorry for Neil Douglas. This is whether or not you won't even listen to any more of my ranting when I am on the live broadcast, or even if I do a video. So anyway, I've gone over by 5 minutes what I wanted to do. For those of you that have stayed with me, thank you very much. And I hope I do hear some comments from you. Your opinions, your thoughts. What should I change? What should I do? I am trying to figure out a way to be able to take callers. But you know, what's the point of callers if nobody even wants to comment? But that's just something I thought of. So in the meantime, people, please have a great night. If you do like this video, please share it so other people can see it. My name is Neil Douglas, American Truth Finders. God bless all of you, and God bless America. Good night.